So welcome. As we need to increase in our efforts, today the class is going to be in office and in person in Zoom. So we have some people participating in the office, and we have some refreshments. Welcome. This is our welcome to the office meeting. So first of all, the theme of what I do is that we talk about purpose in life. Please sit down for a minute.
Okay, why not?
And you can eat something.
Okay, thank you.
So as I research what I do, purpose in life has a medical benefit. Okay? Purpose in life decrease mortality. Purpose in life decrease mortality, decrease hospitalization, increase use of preventive medicine. And if you look at medical literature, there are different purposes in life. Okay, so different studies look at different purposes in life, whether it's my achievement, I want to get my degree, I want to get a car, I want to get married, I want to have children, I want to raise my children, I want to wait for different so, but from a Jewish perspective, what is, well, I don't know Jewish, but human perspective, okay? What is our purpose in life? Self-improvement, self-refinement, okay, to improve myself. How can I improve myself? So the three categories of personalities, the three domains are intellect, our character, and our speech. Okay. So when you look at, people, let's say philosophers or doctors or big people, they have goals in life. They have a purpose. Okay. Some people have purposes. I want to be the president. I want to be, the head of this company, whatever they. But there has to be self-refinement. If we look at the Torah, who was the first person, or like the best person in creation? Obviously Adam. He was created by Hashem, but after him. So it says, Rambam, Maimonides writes that Moshe Rabbeinu was Mivchar Hamina Enoshi. He was the best creation, not as he was a human being from a husband, a man and woman, but he was, and when did he live? He lived after 2,200 years. Okay, so it wasn't like, after 100 years we have the best person. So when we look at, I'm going to turn my phone off. When we look at people, so let's look at our generation. Okay, our generation, nothing we can relate to. Who is a person who perfected himself? Okay. So each one has his rabbi. You'll say, "Oh, he's the best person, right? He's the best person." But who from the world? We all read social media, we read the news. Who is the best person we can say? As a Jewish guy, I think the Rebbe is the best person, right? Lubavitch Rebbe is the epitome of humanity. Okay, somebody who refined himself by his intellect, learn as much as he can, and then teach as much as he can. Character-wise, he refined his character, and he speaks about it, and he's teaching how to refine character. Okay, but we have to go into his teaching to learn it. Okay, it's not that it's available for everybody, but not everybody is interested to learn about it because we're happy with who we are. We don't think we need to change, but why should we change? Because character is a dynamic process. Character is being expressed at every moment of the day. Okay, so when we talk about a purpose in life is to improve our character, it's not a general idea. It becomes a practical idea, a practical application of how do I speak to another person? Am I kind? Am I nice? Do I give over? Do I teach? Do I share something? Or I keep things for myself? Okay. So when we look at our purpose, if we want to improve our character, Alice, can we just turn this off? Toby, can you close
Sure.
it? So it's just. So when we want to improve our character, it is something that we have to do multiple times a day. Now, it isn't like, a medical degree. So I got my MD, now I have my degree. A degree you achieve and it stays with you for the rest of your life. Okay? But character does not. Character, you can behave perfectly today, and tomorrow you can be nasty and angry and fight with everybody. So what does it mean? Mean that character cannot be achieved and maintained. It requires constant effort. Okay. I'm not a psychologist, but obviously we study psychology and psychiatry. But the idea is that that's a purpose in life. I have a daily purpose. But my daily purpose is that today I'm going to behave better in every single interaction I have. So why is it a medical thing? Because purpose in life was shown in many different studies to be able to improve mortality, decrease disease burden, okay, decrease anxiety, help us live longer. Okay. So when we apply these
You don't
ideas,
just drift through life. You don't drift through life.
yes,
You need a purpose. Yeah.
the purpose. So the three things we said is intellect is to learn more. Everything you learn is going to improve your brain. But what is our ultimate? Okay, according to um, uh, Torah, is to know about Hashem, to know about the Creator. Okay, so when you look at the law, there is actually, we have laws of Shabbos, we have laws of character. The Rambam writes law of character, how we should behave. It isn't just something that each one should choose for himself. It's law of character. There are 8 chapters. Really, only about 3 of them apply to us. So if you look at laws of character chapters, it's 8 chapters, but usually it's chapter 3, 4, 5 is what applies to most people, average people. Then the other chapters are a little bit about somebody who wants to become better. Okay, you already refined yourself, now you want to become better. It also has ideas of how to maintain our physical health. Some of these ideas are not always applicable nowadays, but it's there in the book. And then we have our speech. The Lubavitcher Rebbe actually says that speech is the most important. Character is very important, but it's very hard to achieve. It's very hard to achieve character changing. Okay? We should all do it. It doesn't mean you shouldn't do it. He said you should all do it, but it's not easy to achieve. Speech is easier to achieve, and it has medical benefit. Why is speech has medical benefit? So spiritually, our mouth is in a way responsible to what goes into our body. So fluid and food. So we have to eat healthy food. So it says that the mouth is responsible for diseases, okay, spiritually. So by the same way it's responsible to, God forbid, get the disease, it's also responsible to get healing. Okay, so how do we get healing? So first one is by eating healthy. Besides, in addition to eating healthy, you need to eat for the right purpose. I'm not just eating so I can enjoy the food. I'm eating so I can give strength, so I can build up my body and do what's the purpose of eating? The purpose of eating is to be able to do the other 3 purposes. Okay. But the most important speech is to speak positive. Okay, speak positive things. And if you have nothing to say positive, then don't speak. Okay, so speech is actually divided into 5 categories. And then you have silence. So 3 of them we should increase, 3 of them we should decrease. 5 speeches and one is silence. That's 6. What are the things we should increase? Either is speech that you are commanded to talk, like words of Torah, or say the truth. It's a commandment to say the truth. Don't lie, right? Then there is forbidden speech. What is forbidden speech? Lie, lashon hara, gossip, lie, false testimony. You go to court and you knowingly saying that that's you're forbidden to say. Then there are speech which is undesirable. For example, what's undesirable? Idle talk. Like I'm going to talk about celebrities and social media, things which, okay, you didn't say something bad, but it's just, it says serves no purpose. Or you talk about different presidents, whatever it is. And then we have the majority of our speech has to do with our business, with our interaction with people. Okay. So in my field, it's medicine. Somebody else field is sales. Each one is in different things, but the majority of our speech is business related, or food, or buying, clothing, etc., whatever that is. So the so just to summarize, so positive commanded speech we should speak. Oh, and then there is another speech which is the to speak about good, to tell good stories, to compliment other people, okay, to say a nice word, to give a hand. The Rebbe says that when we say words of Torah, Torah brings healing to the world. So when we say words of Torah, it actually brings healing to the world and to ourselves. Okay, so if we want to bring healing to ourselves, we should say words of Torah. What's words of Torah? Idea of what the Torah speaks about, like the laws of character. Okay. So, so just to summarize, so the three things we have to increase is one, silence. If you have nothing to say, don't say it. Commanded speech, you should speak, and the speech about good things, stories about acts of meritorious acts. Somebody did something good, so you talk about it, you praise them. Stories of righteous people, and the three to decrease is forbidden speech, idle talk, and business talk. Okay. Whatever you can decrease. So I read this book during our Wednesday's class. We already went through half the book. So the topic of that we are in is maintaining a positive mental attitude while ailing. Okay, so when you're sick, you don't feel well. When you don't feel well, you don't think well, and you get into your disease. Okay, and when you get into your disease, it's hard for you to let go, and then you become micromanaging everything. Right? You start to micromanage, and you go to the doctor, and he tells you like that, and then you disagree with him, and you look for other answers on the internet, etc. Nowadays, I go to see patients, and without knowing, they record me, and they put it in ChatGPT, and they're asking for what ChatGPT opinion is, right? So, wow. So then they get back to me. ChatGPT says this. Why do you say this? So then it's like, okay. Wow. So and I'm not saying that it's okay for you to do, but it also it makes the burden on the physician much harder. Hey, Leonard. Hello.
היי.
רחל, הזמנתי אותו לשבת, אבל הוא יבוא לשבת. קל להוציא את לנו.
Do I serve you some salad?
Yes.
Fine, I'm fine.
No, no, eat something. Okay.
I will, a little later.
Okay. So I'm gonna read a letter. And then we'll see. Okay, so it's about positive attitude. Okay. In reply to your letter from the month of Kislev, the month of redemption, in which you describe your present according to your lamentable situation, and also that throughout all the days of your life, you have not experienced goodness. So the person says, I really never experienced anything good in my life. Everything is bad. And really, he says, I'm not happy with my wife, I'm not happy with my children, now I'm not happy with my health. Okay, so you see that he's writing, his attitude towards life is different, is negative. Okay, so a Rebbe, a leader who thinks straight, and we're going to see in a few minutes a little video of the Rebbe, how the Rebbe helped other people. Because the Rebbe is somebody who, in addition to being role model and being able to manage a population and lead thousands of people, he also cared about the individual person. So he didn't just have the big picture, he also had the small picture of every individual. So this guy is very negative, but his wife, his kids, and his health. So the Rebbe says to change his opinion. So here's what the Rebbe answers him. It would seem that you fail to sense the contradiction in your own letter. An individual for whom God prepared a wife, come inside, who God prepared a wife and then blessed him with children, and who then says that he has never experienced goodness in his life, is being tremendously ungrateful. Okay? So listen to this. The guy writes, I have wife and children. And the Rebbe says, okay, you have wife and children. Isn't that something to be happy about? And he keeps on explaining to him. Surely this ingratitude will not affect the blessing that God has shown you until now. Because if you say, I'm not happy, God can take it away from you, right? But the Rebbe tells him, don't worry, God is not going to take it away from you. You have a blessing, it's going to stay with you. But the fact that God will continue his blessing and beneficence and even increase them in the future should not be a reason for you to continue to be ungrateful. Change your attitude, be grateful, change your mindsets. Rebbe writes, hundreds and thousands of people pray every day that they be blessed with children, willing to give away everything for a single son or daughter. And they have yet to have their prayer answered. May God bless them with the fulfillment of their heart's desires for good very shortly. You have received this blessing, and it would seem that you were granted this blessing without too much prayer on your part. Meaning it came to you easy. God gave you children, it came to you easy, so you are not really appreciative of it. Do not recognize your treasure and good fortune. Open your eyes and realize what you have. And you twice state in your above mentioned letter that you have never experienced goodness. So the Rebbe tells him, change yourself. Moreover, now the Rebbe first brings him to an understanding something in his thought process is not right. Now, it's not just the Rebbe tells him just be quiet. He needs to elevate him. The Rebbe always elevate people. He brings them to a higher level. Okay, so it's a lesson for us. So it's a lesson for us, for me as a doctor, when I read these letters, because it brings me to a higher level of understanding. I'm not just to just give you a medicine and go away from here. I have to elevate you from where you are to something higher. And that's what the Rebbe is doing. Okay? Moreover, you conclude that you do not believe, God forbid, that you will ever be helped from above. For it has been decreed, God forbid, that all your days will be tragic and wretched. That's a negative person. Surely you understand that I do not mean to imply that your income must remain meager and your health fragile, etc. I merely want to bring to your attention the possibility that your frail health and skimpy income may result from your total lack of recognition of the fact that God has blessed you with something much more important than good health and making a very good living. Okay? The blessings of sons and daughters who follow in God's path. Okay? So now the Rebbe is trying to elevate him to a higher level, to tell him there is something that you misunderstand. You are looking at the world and you're trying to see, I want to imitate. This guy has a car and a nice fancy, I don't know, suit and a nice house and a nice job. Yeah, but you don't know if he's happy. You don't know if he has children, right? And even if he has children, doesn't mean his children are going in the right path. You have a treasure that you underestimate. And if you change your perspective, you'll see everything different. Like this cup half full or half empty. It's the same cup. The question, how inside do you feel? So the rabbi is keeping on to talk to him. So he couldn't into psychology, but this is psychology. I mean, the truth is, Rabbi Shapiro says, the rabbis had been the greatest psychologists. In all generations, they've been the greatest psychologists. Even they didn't have a title, they didn't go to school for psychology, but they know what people think.
All rabbis are psychologists.
They're all psychologists, right? Okay. Okay, so then let's continue. When, however, one refuses to recognize his clear and revealed blessings from above, especially when this lack of recognition is so acute that you use such extreme expressions in your letter, then it is a surprise if blessings are not drawn down from above with regard to your other affairs. It is my hope that these few lines will suffice to enlighten you so that you view your state of affairs in their true perspective. Okay? So we have to look at the right perspective. For example, this is the month of Adar. It's a month of happiness. If you are not happy, then something is wrong. Okay? Something is wrong. But you have to stop your day and realize there is a happy atmosphere. There is happiness in the air. Am I absorbing it? Okay. So the Rebbe writes, when you will begin serving God with true and inner joy, then God's blessing will surely increase with regard to health and sustenance, as is understood from many places in the writing of our sages, among them in the Zohar. You have no doubt established times for Torah study. I'm sure you sit and learn both Nigla and Hasidus. You learn the written law, the oral law, and the Hasidus, which is in our generation a must of learning. Or at least will begin doing so from now on. Meaning, if you don't have time, set time to sit and learn, then something is wrong. And that fits to what we spoke earlier, that we have to increase our knowledge every day. Okay? We can't say, oh, I have my degree, I don't have to keep on learning. No, we have to keep learning continuously, even nowadays. Okay, every day, a few minutes to sit and learn. If you cannot do it by yourself, then do it with somebody else. Like husband and wife, okay. From 6 to 6:10, we're gonna sit and learn. Father and son, from 5 to 5:30, for 5 minutes, 5 to 5, read them a story. I come to my kids, story time. We're playing. Okay, now story time. And give them a good story with good behavior. Teach good behavior. Okay. It would also be appropriate for you to check your tefillin, as well as the mezuzahs in your home. Okay, so we have a mezuzah, and the fact you have a mezuzah doesn't mean it's always kosher. Why do you check it? So one person I saw, a woman came and asked the Rebbe for a blessing for health for a neighbor of hers. So the Rebbe tells her, check your mezuzah. So the woman tells the Rebbe, she's a righteous woman. The Rebbe answered, she is a righteous woman, but she did not write the mezuzah. She didn't write it, somebody else wrote it. Maybe it's not kosher. Maybe there's a problem. It's not her fault. She's a righteous woman. Doesn't mean everything you're righteous, that everything should come to you is correct. You have to check it. Also, give a few cents to tzedakah every weekday morning prior to the morning prayers. Giving charity. Why do we give charity? Charity is not just to help somebody else. Charity is a perspective, an intellectual perspective, a preparation for a few things. One is to share from what you have with somebody else, because God gave you, He gave you extra. Some of that should come to somebody else. Moreover, from a character perspective, people sometimes don't feel, because of their humility, don't feel they deserve something. So if they don't feel they deserve, what happens? I don't buy a new shirt. I don't deserve a new shirt. I don't deserve something nicer. So if I think I'm humble and I don't deserve, for sure you don't deserve. If I don't deserve, why should you deserve? That's a problem. So the Rebbe say, when you realize that somebody else deserves, you also will realize that you also deserve. So you need to get something for yourself. You have to give something for yourself, and then you realize that you should share also with others. Okay? So charity is a perspective of your mind that God gives you things that you need to get the best out of what it is, and you also need to share with other people. Now, it doesn't mean you should drive the most fancier car and the fanciest house and the most expensive jewelry and only the best kosher food. It doesn't mean that. It means whatever your needs are. But people sometimes underestimate their needs. And then if they underestimate their needs, they underestimate other people's needs. Okay? So if you prepare ahead of time, you give charity. That you do that before prayer. So this is a letter of the Rebbe to a person who was very negative, and the Rebbe is teaching him through what we just said, through character, giving, through the speech, say good things. Don't just say bad things. Even if you're unhappy with your wife, I'm just saying, say, I'm happy with my wife. Say to your own ears, I'm happy with my wife. I'm happy with my kids. They're not perfect. I'm also not perfect. Nobody's perfect. So this is one letter. Let me read another letter. It's a short. This one is short one. The title of the letter is "Anguish is Antithetical to Human Life and in the Endeavor." It pained me to hear about your wife's health that is not good. It is my hope that the medical treatment has been successful and that your peace of mind has returned. For I was also informed that you were distraught and stressed. Okay? Anguish and being overly stressed is antithetical to all areas of human life and endeavor. Okay? In the words of our sages, one is not to commence his praise in a state of sorrow, but only when one is in a joyful state, with the performance of a mitzvah. This statement also applies to Torah study, and it is stated with regard to serving God with joy. So too, with regard to Torah law. Okay, we need to do things with happiness. And if you're not happy, stop and concentrate and then move on. Now, the entire life of a Jew on earth is that of prayer and adherence to or study of the Torah, of prayer and Torah. And thus, all aspects of person's life are to be joyful. Prayer representing the aspect of bringing about the ascent of the lower realms to the higher realms, up to and including uniting, cleaving, and unifying with the Creator. I want to explain that. The aspect of drawing down goodness and holiness from the higher realms to the lower realms. Let's stop on that and talk about it. Because it's a very important understanding. What's the difference between learning something and praying for something? Okay, so learning there are ideas. Okay, for example, 1 + 1 = 2. You know that, right? Where is that idea? Where is the idea? It's a spiritual idea, right? It's an idea. Yes, we can count 1 + 1 = 2. But let's say there is another idea. If I want you, if I say you owe me money, give me money, I have to prove it, right? I can't come to you, you owe me money, prove me that you don't owe me money. I have to prove, right? So if I want to get your money, I have to prove you owe me. This is an idea, it's a concept, right? It's in a concept. If you want to teach it to somebody else who doesn't know the concept, like in law, you have to teach law to other people. So you introduce a concept to their mind. Where was that concept before? It was here, it was in this world, but it wasn't in somebody's mind. So you bring it from the ideas into the brain. Same thing is with Torah. The knowledge of Torah is in the world, it's in the book, but it has to be in your mind. You have to understand it. It's not just enough to know it's there. It's on the book on the shelf. It has to be in your mind. But prayer is completely different. Why is prayer different? Prayer means that the situation requires a change. The situation which we have now, I want to change it. So how do you change it? You have to pray that it should be changed. So it's coming from you. You are the one that initiates a change. Okay, so when we pray for something, you pray for money. I don't have money. Please give me money. I don't have health. God, please give me health. I don't have wisdom. Please give me wisdom. So we are praying from down below. It's initiated by us, and we ask Him to get something we don't have. Okay. When we ask for that, we actually ascending up. Okay, it's not just that it to fulfill my desire. Why did God not give it to me? Because God wants me to realize He's the one to give it. So He wants my closeness. So if I'm not healthy, I pray for health because that's the ultimate goal. God wants my closeness. The closeness can come because I'm not feeling well, or if I'm smart enough, I will seek God's closeness without being sick. So I don't get sick. That's preventive medicine. That is preventive medicine. To seek God through intellect, expression, and character before we get sick. So then we realize, oh, wow, I live a life. I'm pretty happy. There is a creator here. Let me connect to the creator. Let me know the creator better, right? Sometimes you get married with somebody and you say, oh, yeah, I want to get you better. I want to get to know you better. So then you do things, you do fun things to get to know better. Same thing is with God. We need to know God better. How do we know God better? By learning, by improving our character. And that's a continuous process throughout our life. Okay, it never finishes. Okay. So now I finished talking.
No,
I want to hear questions, comment, and if you want, we can see a little video. Any comments, anybody?
terrific. I've heard God answers all prayers.
Right.
Sometimes the answer is no.
Correct. Correct, Leonard.